It is Wednesday, the 24th day of September, 2025. I am Dan Kuntz. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and somewhere behind me is the Wenatchee Valley AQI in East Wenatchee right now. By the way, the station's on 8th Street Northeast. 236. That's very unhealthy. It's 216 in Aniat. It's purple in Cashmere. That ain't good. Wenatchee's 193. It's considerably worse now than it was 24 hours ago at this time. And we're going to have to deal with it again today. Pretty dirty air. I got lots of weather and lots of bad air to talk about here in just a couple of minutes. I have no idea what we're going to be able to see with the PTZ cameras this morning. If that's any indication, not much. It's bad, folks. It's bad. The fires didn't really grow much yesterday. The Lower Sugarloaf and Labor Mountain fires, they grew, but not much. But as we mentioned before, we mentioned this yesterday, we're under the influence of high pressure. It's a big ridge of high pressure. It's centered right over the Wenatchee Valley, right over north central Washington. There's simply no place for the smoke to go. Goes up, goes down, and settles on the valley floors. And we're going to deal with this again today. Big weather changes coming tomorrow, though. Some of it good, some of it bad. News, lots. Sports, Mariners are in the playoffs. All they had to do to make it to the playoffs, they needed the Yankees to beat the White Sox, and they needed to beat the Rockies. Both things happened. The Mariners are in the playoffs. They have a very good chance of not only winning the division, they haven't done that yet, but they may even get a first-round bye. It was a great night at T-Mobile Park. We'll have all of that for you in sports. In case you missed it on Monday, we're going to replay the interview I did with Bonnie Orr as we have now fully transitioned from summer into autumn, the do's and don'ts and all the tips you need to know to make sure that your yard and garden and plants are good to go for the autumn months. Lots to get to. Tour time. Let's see what we got here on this Wednesday morning. That is so much worse than it was yesterday at this time. We're going to show you a graph in just a little bit about how bad it got yesterday and overnight tonight. That's just not good at all. Somewhere down there is the Wenatchee Valley, but we are in Wenatchee proper. It's 193. For some strange reason, the East Wenatchee Air Quality Monitoring Station is at 236. They're really not that far from one another. Camera number 2. That's Chelan. Chelan does not have the air monitor working right now. I don't know what it is, what the AQI is in Chelan. It's not been reporting anything for a couple of days. I'll let the Department of Ecology know. Obviously, it's not real good there from our Bear Mountain camera, whatever you can make out there. It's everybody has at least got moderately bad air. Some of it is unhealthy for sensitive groups. We're just plain unhealthy or very unhealthy. There's no such thing as a blech on the AQI scale, but maybe they should think about doing that. Camera 3. Yuck. There's a yuck view. That's the sun. I believe that is the Upper Butte. I honestly don't know. It's impossible to make anything out, but look at how grody that is. I wonder if that's, I'm thinking that's the Upper Butte, simply because of where the sun is located. It's not real good up there, is it? And camera number 4. Well, there you go. I don't know. I just don't know. I haven't mentioned the Columbia Basin because they really haven't had some dirty air, but George, you're at 175. That's unhealthy. Leavenworth's at 195. And again, it ain't gonna get much better. We have 4 slides to show for you. First of all, air quality alert. This does not have an expiration date on it. Again, high pressure is keeping the smoke trapped down to the surface as the fires continue to burn. So this does not have an expiration date. The Department of Ecology is the one who issues the air quality alerts, and well, they say it's just up and running and we're going to get rid of it when we can get rid of it, but pretty much our whole viewing area, with the exception of the Columbia Basin, is under the influence of an air quality alert. Here is the AQI from about an hour ago. It's gotten worse, not better, since I took that screenshot about an hour ago. Again, East Wenatchee right now is at 236. Aniat at 216, Cashmere 210, all of those is very unhealthy. Leavenworth 195, Wenatchee 193. It's not real good. Here is a timeline from midnight yesterday until 6 o'clock this morning. I decided to do 2 of the stations. The East Wenatchee Air Monitoring Station, which is on 8th Street Northeast, that is the solid line. The Wenatchee air quality monitor is on Midhouse Street. That's the dotted line. So midnight yesterday all the way to about an hour ago, as you can see, it improved quite a bit in the early afternoon hours, and then it started to get bad, and then it got really bad overnight, and now it's just plain gushy, and it continues to well, go in the other direction, the direction that we don't want. But things are going to change. There's a fire weather watch. It begins tomorrow. What does this mean? There's a strong cold front that's going to come in from the west. It is very dry. Relative humidities are going to go way down into the teens. Keep in mind, it's not real wet air to begin with, but this is a rather robust cold front that's going to sweep through our area starting tomorrow morning. It'll definitely be here by tomorrow afternoon. The ridge of high pressure is going to flatten out. Here comes some gusty winds, very dry air, very windy conditions. Good news, probably scour out the smoke. Bad news, obviously, any fires that are burning, and there are fires burning, can take off and go because, well, the winds will do that. From the National Weather Service. Here we go. Smoke and haze, smoke and haze, smoke and haze. Oh, by the way, thanks to our friends at Colonial Vista for doing the forecast. Hazy and smoky, 84 today. This will be the end of the 80s. We hit 79 yesterday, by the way. It'll be a little bit warmer today, but again, just lots of smoke and haze to keep our temperatures better than, I mean, it could be pushing 90 if it wasn't for the smoke and the haze. Smoke and haze tonight, 58 for the overnight low. Tomorrow things start changing. It'll be sunny and smoky and hazy in the morning. By the time the cold front rolls in, it'll start picking up in intensity. The wind will be in the northwest about 10 to 15 miles an hour, blowing northwest to southeast, gusts as high as 24 miles an hour, which means it's going to blow the fires in those directions to the south and the east. Thursday night, continued breezy, 52 for the overnight low, and then we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see exactly how much smoke gets cleared out, but how big the fires grow with the incoming cold front during the day tomorrow, especially tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. No real wind in the forecast Friday. We'll see. I have 76. We got football Friday night. I hope we'll be able to do the game. And as you can see, we'll finally cool down. And boy, do we need rain. There's a chance of rain Sunday night. There's a better chance of rain Monday and Monday night, and into Tuesday. A bunch of rain would be really good. That's not in the forecast. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we have lots of news, including an update on the local fires in 2 minutes. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
There's no place like home, because home is where we're totally comfortable. It's where we can be ourselves and let our guards down. It's where we make memories, and we're always imagining new ways to keep it totally comfortable. Carrier, total comfort, totally happy.
Call Alpine Air Heating and Cooling today. Your comfort is their priority.
Hi, I'm Amanda Walden with A. Walden Insurance Group. Medicare can be overwhelming, but you don't have to figure it out alone. I've been helping people understand their Medicare options for over a decade. Medicare isn't a one-size-fits-all. I'll help you understand your coverage options so you can feel confident in your decisions. Let's find the right Medicare plan for you. Call me today or come and see me at my office located on South Chelan Avenue in Wenatchee between the YMCA and the Social Security office. I look forward to meeting you soon.
Tour Moses Lake just a gas tank away. With its abundance of outdoor activities, Moses Lake is a great place to visit. From fishing and boating to exploring the city's attractions, there is no shortage of things to do. Whether you're enjoying any one of the variety of restaurants with the family or an adventure-filled day with friends, Moses Lake has something for everyone. Tour MosesLake.com and start your adventure today.
Craving fresh Asian comfort food? Steam Panda is Wenatchee's popular, family-friendly Asian restaurant. They focus on providing guests with delicious, healthy, fresh, and natural dishes for an affordable price. It's time to enjoy one of their many popular house-made soup dumplings, ramen noodles, or pho dishes. And make sure to ask about their lunch and chef specials on sushi rolls. Steam Panda's Hawaiian poke bowl and salads are excellent with your favorite boba tea. Stop by or order online at Steam Panda today.
It's 53 degrees here in the Wenatchee Valley. The big story, not surprisingly, is the air quality. It is 236 at the East Wenatchee Monitoring Station. That is very unhealthy, and it may stay that way for most of the day. It's 10 minutes after the hour. The Lower Sugarloaf and Labor Mountain fires grew yesterday. They didn't grow that much, but they did grow. The Lower Sugarloaf fires in the upper right-hand corner of your screen is now just shy of 30,000 acres. It is 22% contained. The Labor Mountain fire in the lower left-hand corner is slightly more than 13,000 acres in size. It's still at a 7% containment, which is the same as it was 24 hours ago. Last night, Tom Schultz, who is the incident meteorologist for both fires, gave a briefing on what to expect for the weather and how long the dirty air is expected to stick around.
Hi, my name is Tom Schultz. I'm the incident meteorologist for both the Lower Sugarloaf fire and Labor Mountain fire. I'm going to just talk about a little bit of what I do and then go over the weather conditions as we move forward and maybe briefly touch on the weather event that we had this past weekend. So, incident meteorologist is a specially trained meteorologist with the National Weather Service that comes out to incidents like this to work with critical incident management teams. If we think about the different variables that control fire behavior, which is weather, terrain, and fuels, weather is the most dynamic. So I'm here on the ground providing eye-to-eye support with the critical incident management teams to provide them weather forecasts for short-term and long-term tactical decisions, and also provide weather alerts. As far as the weather that we saw this past weekend that drove some of this fire activity across both the Lower Sugarloaf and Labor Mountain fire, is we did have a cold frontal boundary that came through the region late Saturday night into Sunday morning. Now, while it did produce a lot of rainfall on the west side of the Cascades, both of these fires did not see much rainfall at all, only around 0.03 of an inch to trace amounts. So we didn't get a lot of that wetting rain to help improve fuel conditions. We then got hit with very gusty winds Saturday afternoon and Sunday afternoon as well, with gusts recorded up to 30 to 35 miles per hour on top of the ridgetops here in Sugarloaf. Fortunately, though, as we've gone into the early portion of this week, a ridge of high pressure has built overhead, which has significantly calmed our conditions here locally. However, one thing it has done is it has trapped a lot of the smoke down near the surface, and we have struggled to mix out each day, which has impacted visibility for aircraft operations. As we move forward through today and Wednesday, we'll see this ridge of high pressure sit overhead, but then start to shift a little bit to the east. So expect fairly calm conditions through Wednesday morning, but once we get into Wednesday afternoon, which will likely be the warmest and driest day of the week, we'll start to see those winds shift westerly a little bit on both of these fires. The main event, though, comes Thursday when we do see a cold frontal boundary clip the region to the north. With this one, we're not expecting any rainfall at all. However, it will significantly increase our winds, especially Thursday afternoon and evening. Those winds mixed with very dry conditions could lead to elevated to critical fire weather conditions for that period. If we go over here and look at these weather matrices, I'll first start off by saying that they are color-coded. So the green colors stand for moderate or low burning conditions. Yellow is more of a take caution, and then red is extreme. We can see that Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the Lower Sugarloaf incident, we do have that sort of red category for winds, which denotes that increase and will be something that we'll be watching closely. Winds are going to be similar for the Labor Mountain fire as well, with those red gusts occurring on Thursday and Friday. As we go into the weekend, we are expecting those winds to decrease and temperatures will be decreasing as well. However, it doesn't look like we'll be seeing any rainfall here in the near future.
The Chelan County Commissioners, well, they had a packed chamber Yesterday morning, it was the hearing on the county's moratorium that's preventing the creation of a tax increment financing district. The moratorium was put in place by commissioners to prevent efforts by the Chelan-Douglas Regional Port Authority to create a TIF district in Malaga for funding future projects. A lot of community members voiced concerns on whether the TIF district would strengthen the port's financial power without specific assurances on how funds would be spent.
Just generic to TIFs. A TIF has the ability to bring in significant development, infrastructure, roads, etc., to be maintained by all the other taxing districts, junior taxing districts in the area, without a corresponding increase in revenue. That is one of the concerns we have. The other concern we have is, over time, as all the junior taxing districts have to refresh their levies, the new increased assessed value is not available for us to use to reduce the overall tax burden for all taxpayers. Those are the generic concerns we have with TIFs. We understand that the governmental entities can form TIFs with just a simple vote of their board, and the proof will be in the partnership later. If any of the taxing districts have disparate impacts, are we going to be able to go through mediation and arbitration to come to a solution to help offset expenses? Thanks, Commissioners.
For context, the proposed Malaga TIF would take another $6 million. These are funds voters intended for books, technology, and safe community places and services that benefit everyone across our region. Some states allow libraries and counties and other taxing bodies to opt out of TIF or require compensation for lost revenue. Washington does not currently provide those safeguards, and might ask that as you move forward, you consider ways to ensure libraries are either protected or compensated so we can continue to serve our communities during these years of growth.
So 2 weeks ago, a month into the moratorium, this Board of Commissioners sent the Port Commissioners a proposed interlocal agreement which would co-sponsor a tax increment area in Malaga. So on the one hand, the board has said in its public statements that the port-administered tax increment area in Malaga is short-sighted, selfish, dangerous, arrogant, opportunistic, harmful, all of those things. But on the other hand, is looking to partner with the port, keeping the port as the lead agency for the TIF. This is an inconsistency that can't really easily be reconciled. So the law does not support a moratorium. It misuses a land use statute to purport to stop a financing tool that the legislature gave directly to the ports. It creates uncertainty, it delays public investment in infrastructure, and contradicts state law and infringes on the port's statutory rights. So policy disagreements don't justify a moratorium, and the port would ask that you lift the moratorium today.
Despite the request, by the way, by the port's attorneys, the commissioners voted to extend the moratorium another 5 months. A 41-year-old Chelan resident pleaded guilty Monday to providing fentanyl to local juveniles in exchange for sex and compromising photographs. Abraham Escalera's two admitted victims were 13 and 15 years old. Escalera was arrested by Chelan County Sheriff's deputies in 2023 after one of the victims disclosed the abuse to Wenatchee police. His plea in Chelan County Court admitted to 4 out of a total of 16 criminal counts. Those were delivering a controlled substance to a minor, 2 counts of promoting sexual abuse of a minor, and obstruction of law enforcement. Deputies say that last count comes from Escalera's attempt to delete photos and videos off his phone while he was handing it over to a detective. Prosecutors say they'll ask for just over 14 years in prison when he's sentenced in late October. Escalera remains held in the Chelan County Jail. He's been there for almost 2 years. The Okanagan Sheriff's Office is offering a $1,500 reward for information related to an explosive device that was found last week along a walking path not far from Tenasket High School. Sheriff Paul Budrow says that on Thursday, a woman walking the path discovered the explosive containing black powder. A bomb technician with the Spokane County Sheriff's Office was brought in to detonate the item. Nobody was injured. The Tonasca School District canceled all classes and activities the following day to help law enforcement with the investigation. The case remains under investigation. If you have any information, you're asked to call the Okanagan County Sheriff's Department. The Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife is holding their annual meeting of their commissioners. It's going to be in Wenatchee this weekend. The regular meeting is scheduled for Saturday at 8 a.m. as part of a multi-day retreat at the Hilton Garden Inn. In addition to taking public input, the commission will consider 4 proposed land transactions, including some in Douglas and Okanagan County. Commissioners will also go over a draft resident native trout harvest policy to develop fishing rules for Washington's trout populations. The commission has 9 members, 2 of which live in our area. Commissioner John Lemcool is a Wenatchee resident. The vice chair is Molly Linville. She lives out in the Palisades. For a full agenda of the meeting, you can go to their website. And good news for you folks who take 97A after a 15-day closure. Knapp's Hill Tunnel on Highway 97A near Chelan is back open. The Washington State Department of Transportation shut down the Knapp's Hill Tunnel back on September 8th to replace the light system, which was failing. That caused, of course, drivers having to take a different route to get to and from Chelan. Crews managed to finish installing the new light system 2 days ahead of schedule. The tunnel reopened Monday afternoon. The new lighting system has 160 bulbs, complete with new wiring and new conduits that will adjust to the level of the daylight outside the tunnel. And the new lights also have redundancy. In case of blackouts, the lights will stay on. And that's the news. At 21 minutes after the hour, another busy day in the bullpen will result in another newscast tonight at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, 5, 6, and 10 on TV. If that doesn't work in your schedule, don't worry. It'll be up and running on our YouTube page and on our homepage. You can watch the news right around 5 o'clock just by pointing and clicking. Don't forget, we're on Apple TV now. We're on the Amazon Fire Stick. We're on Roku. We got an app. We got lots of things. They all scare me, but I'll have to live with it. That's my cross to bear. If you have a news tip, news@ncwlife.com. The Mariners are in the playoffs. They could even win their division. Sports is next. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
Fibercrete fireproof safety rooms can be the difference between life and death for you and your family. Typical fireproof safety rooms are 8x8 Fibercrete panels providing a solid sanctuary. Fibercrete safety rooms can be above ground, buried underground, or built within new home construction. Best of all, a safety room by Fibercrete is very affordable. Call 360-770-2088. You owe it to your family to find out more about Fibercrete safety rooms.
How you doing this morning? I'm Peter Kay, and this is the Go Home Morning Run.
I moved to Wenatchee last year, no car, and Link Transit saved me the first day I was here. If I didn't have the link, I would have had to walk blocks and blocks to get to work. So I used it for sightseeing, used it to get groceries. I'm thinking, do I need a car? I don't think I do. I don't know why you wouldn't ride the bus. I'm Peter Nyblum, and Link is how I roll.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
Your favorite local channel is now available for free on your smart TV and connected streaming devices. Watch live programming and catch up with the latest shows on demand. See the local stories that matter to you. NCW Life, now on Roku, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
"24 minutes after the hour, Josh Naylor hit a 2-out bases clearing double in the 8th inning. The Mariners are in the playoffs. 4-3 the final over the Rockies last night. The Mariners have won 15 out of their last 16 games. They can wrap up the American League West title later today, either by beating the Rockies or if the Astros lose to the Athletics. If either one of those things happen, they're going to win the division. Seattle managed just 3 hits, but it was all they needed.
3-2. Ground ball toward the middle of the diamond, and Caros, can he beat the throw? He did, and the Rockies get a run.
Wow! This ball torched, gone, tied game! Dom Canzone!
Goldie, he has been mashing the baseball. I just got done talking about him hitting with 2 strikes, how much better his at-bats have been and some of the damage he's done deeper in the count. The home run's number 7 in 2-strike counts. And what a big one it was tying this game up.
And a base hit to right. 1 run is scored. Here comes Krim toward the plate. The throw is not in time.
To the gap, left center field, it touches down, base hit, Rayleigh scores, JP's waving home, Julio to the plate, Josh Naylor! 1 pitch away. Ball game! You can't forget about next year. The Mariners are going to the playoffs.
So again, a Mariners win or a Houston loss tonight would give the Mariners their first American League West title since 2001. Louis Castillo will start for the Mariners. First pitch is at 6:40. All right, to the scoreboard. First of all, the Guardians beat the Tigers in Cleveland last night. That gives the Mariners the inside spot for the second best record in the American League, and that would mean a first-round bye in the playoffs. The Yankees, they punched their ticket, by the way, to the postseason with a walk-off win over the White Sox. The Blue Jays are the only other American League team to clinch a playoff berth. So right now in the American League, the only teams that are in is Seattle, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays. In the National League, it's much more cut and dried. The Phillies, the Brewers, the Cubs, the Dodgers, and the Padres have all qualified for the playoffs. Prep soccer scores, they weren't able to play the Eastmont Davis game yesterday. It was supposed to be at Eastmont. They have moved it to Davis. No, they haven't. It's going to be at Eastmont, I'm sorry, but it's going to be at Eastmont tomorrow. They were supposed to play yesterday. They're going to play it tomorrow. Wenatchee beat Moses Lake in a shootout, and you can see the rest of the scores. A lot of close soccer matches on the pitch yesterday. They play volleyball indoors. Don't have to worry about the smoke. Wenatchee remains undefeated in league play. They swept Moses Lake. All of those that you see are clean across-the-board sweeps, with the exception of Brewster, who did win 1 set in their loss to Libertyville. We got football Friday, we hope. I think the smoke will be gone by then. That's the plan anyway. Moses Lake and Wenatchee. Wenatchee finally has a home game. Took them long enough time. We will have it for you. Grant Olson and Paul Collard with the call. Pregame at 6:30. And don't forget, we've teamed up with our media partner, the Wenatchee World, for the North Central Washington Athlete of the Week Award. And here are your 4 nominees. You have until tomorrow at 10 a.m. to go to the Wenatchee World's sports homepage to vote for the Athlete of the Week. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 29 minutes after the hour. Happy National Punctuation Day today. Knowing the correct punctuation, how it fits into a sentence. Is it a colon, a hyphen, a semicolon, a comma? Where is it? Used to be an important skill to know. Nowadays, of course, most programs just do it for you if you don't really know, but proper punctuation is important, especially if you are going to write the written word. Speaking the sentence out loud, it's not that important. Do you know the 14 punctuation marks? Comma, period, colon, ellipsis, semicolon, apostrophe, hyphen, dash, quotation marks, question mark, exclamation point, slash, and parentheses, and brackets. Use them correctly, and you'll get an A. Happy National Punctuation Day today, even the lowly comma. It's 30 minutes after the hour. Today in history. By 1929, airplanes had gotten faster. They had gotten much more maneuverable. And a lot of pilots who relied simply on what they could see outside the window were starting to lose their spatial orientation because the planes were fast and because they could fly so well. And Jimmy Doolittle, the most famous pilot in this country's history, said, "We have to be able to teach pilots how to fly without seeing where they're going," and he did it. In 1929, Jimmy Doolittle performs the first flight without a window, full instrument flying from takeoff to landing, and that, of course, has been the deal ever since. If you want to really fly a plane, you need to be instrument rated, or it's not going to happen. He did it 96 years ago today. Speaking of airplanes, this is the Bombay Airport to your right, the Santa Cruz Airport in Bombay, India. To your left is the smaller airport that serves the local commuter planes, and on this date in 1972, Japan Airlines Flight 472 lands at the wrong airport. It landed on the airport on the left and not the one on the right. As they made their final approach, they got into some mist and some sun, and when it finally cleared, the pilot said, "Oh, there's the runway." And they landed the plane. The only problem was the runway was too short. The plane was destroyed. Nobody was hurt. But as soon as they hit ground, the pilot realized, oops, wrong airport. They're supposed to know where they're landing. And 31 years ago today, if you're a Husky fan, you remember this. It was the whammy in Miami. The Huskies scored 35 points in the second half. They beat the Miami Hurricanes 38-20 in the Orange Bowl, which ended Miami's NCAA record home winning streak at 58. All heavenly birthdays today. The fourth Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, and probably the most important justice ever, John Marshall, born in the state in 1755. Nowhere in the Constitution does it mention that the Supreme Court has judicial review. John Marshall just made it that way. It was John Marshall who said what is and is not constitutional. If it's a law that violates the Constitution, it is our job to say so. And it's supposed to stick, and so far it has. John Marshall, born in the state in 1755. If you ever watched the Olympics when I was growing up, or ABC's Wide World of Sports, Jim McKay was a household name. Jim McKay, born in the state in 1921. Of course, he was the host of Wide World of Sports for 37 years and hosted 12 Olympic broadcasts for ABC and Jim Henson. I can't believe he's been gone for 35 years, but the Muppets are still around. Jim Henson was born in the state in 1936. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. They are our platinum sponsors. For Heat and Air, call Alpine Air. Mike Magnotti lives in a palatial estate. They call it the Magnotti Estate. He'll talk about his beautiful home. And then one more visit with Bonnie Orr, the do's and don'ts of autumn gardening from the beautiful Omi Gardens. When we come back, you're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
I'm Jen Mueller. Watch for my show, I Cook, You Measure on NCWLIFE. It's part cooking instruction, part entertainment, and all about connecting over food and wine with your favorite Northwest athletes.
Watch I Cook, You Measure with Jen Mueller Mondays at 1, Wednesdays at 2, Fridays at 11 a.m., and Saturday and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. right here on the NCWLIFE channel.
After I got my new heat pump, my neighbor Greg was all like, "I wish I could have one of those, but I don't have any ducts." So I just figured we'd share mine.
What is that?
Oh,
Hey, neighbor.
It's like we're all his buddies.
Chelan PUD rebates make upgrading to a ductless heat pump affordable. That way your neighbor can stay,
Hello?
well, your neighbor.
Rest to shine and pause to save. Now at Boswell's. Take 10% off all qualifying stressless furniture or $400 off select stressless power recliners. Plus, get $200 off each stressless Laurel and Mint dining or home office chair and up to $7.99 off any stressless Sky mattress. Shop Boswell's, 2915 Easy Street in Wenatchee.
School's back, but this is the kind of math we like. Over 100 slices of pepperoni, one giant Abby's pizza feeds up to 6 hungry people. That's A+ value, toppings to the edge. That's been the Abby's way since forever. Now go do your homework. When someone says, bring home the bacon, we know what they mean. They want Abby's legendary Bacon Cheddar Pizza, loaded with country bacon and packed with Canadian bacon. On sale now at abbys.com. This month, bring home the bacon at family-owned Abby's.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I love my house, and we moved into a somewhat depressed neighborhood about 22 years ago. The house needed a lot of work, and some of our neighbors were also clients who I dealt with in my job as a cop with the Wenatchee PD. But over the years, we've done a lot of work on the house. The neighborhood has really improved, and we have the house paid off. Thank you, God. And like I said, we do really like our home and our neighborhood. But you know what? I realized that maybe 20 or 30 years from now, someone else is going to be living there. So in a way, we're just renting. This realization is not really sad or depressing. It's just kind of a bittersweet recognition of the progression of life. I just hope whoever lives here next enjoys the home as much as we do now. This is Mike Mad Dog McNally, and that's my opinion.
If you're looking for the best wines and exceptional food to match, you may be looking in the wrong place. The most exciting new winery and bistro in north central Washington isn't in Wenatchee or Chelan or even Leavenworth. It's actually located just south of Wenatchee at the fabulous Crescent Bar Resort. Beaumont Cellars and Bistro is an all-new facility with amazing views, indoor and outdoor dining, and its own amphitheater. Sit back and enjoy wonderful wine and food with a different point of view.
Welcome to Mountain Chick Floral, your go-to flower and plant shop in downtown Wenatchee. Explore their wide variety of unusual and fun plants. And when you buy a plant in a container, they'll pot it up for you absolutely free. Birthday or weddings, they'll create the perfect floral arrangement for you. Brighten up your office with fresh blooms delivered to your door or business. Ask about floral subscriptions. Visit Mountain Chick Floral today, where every occasion is a reason to celebrate with flowers. Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
Well, summertime 2025 is over. For the record, you know, the cotton was high, the fish were jumping, daddy's still rich, mom is still good looking, but it's a done deal. The autumnal equinox, September 22nd, Monday at like 11:06 a.m. We're that accurate, Bonnie. And every time we have an equinox or a solstice, it's Bonnie Orr time, the do's and don'ts of autumn gardening with my good friend Bonnie Orr. Nice meeting you, by the way.
Nice meeting you, and you know, it's a wonder where the summer went. It went so fast.
Yeah, it went so fast. Well, it's hanging on for dear life. We always start out our little conversations with the summer that was. We'll just do this real quick and get your reaction. Driest June on record since they started keeping back records. We had a trace of rain for one day in June. That was it.
And the cherry producers were really happy.
Oh, they loved it. They loved it, but we need rain. We're in a drought.
Yeah.
Also, Plain and Ephrata. Sometimes we don't talk about the foothills or the basin, but they also had record dry June. The average high temperature in June was about 6 degrees above average, and this pattern continues. The normals keep changing, and they change in the wrong direction. Nothing we can do about that.
Nope.
July, a little warmer than normal. Not too much. It was only 3 degrees above normal for our high temperatures for July. August, the same. Slightly warmer than normal, but not too bad. But now here we are in September. Every day this month, Bonnie, except 2, not only has our afternoon high temperature been above normal, it's been well above normal. And this is something we don't talk about, and I want to get your response to this. Every day so far in the month of December, our overnight low, which we normally don't talk about, our overnight low every day this month has been above normal by a bunch.
Which is really good for the end of the gardenings because the tomatoes is shut down when it gets below 60, and the figs don't ripen. But this way, everything continues to grow. So that's a plus.
Are the bugs that are good for your garden have a hard time adjusting to the new normals now?
I don't know.
The hotter and drier weather?
You know, I had a real infestation of spider mites this year on my tomatoes.
How do you account for that?
I can't.
They found a place they liked?
Yeah.
And
so
go figure. It's now autumn, and one of the first things Bonnie and I always talk about, this is the time to plant the large trees and shrubs that will eventually get larger and larger. Now is the time to put those in the ground.
Indeed, and you may have to do some supplemental watering because the soil is probably drier than it has been. So until the ground reaches 40, you can plant and everything's happy. This is a good time to do it. It's time to plant or transplant perennials also, because the perennials can get their roots going.
And they don't have to worry about the heat.
That's right.
And they don't have to worry about a lot of competition for that kind of stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So good news there. Fall cleanup and pruning. Pruning especially. This is a good time of year to get rid of those twigs and those branches that have been bugging you for a long time. Yeah, 86 of them now.
I am not so sure.
Okay.
I think rather than cleaning your yard to nubbins, that you essentially do real damage to your ecosystem because you cut off all the places for beneficial insects, and we know 95% of them are the good guys. They have no place to overwinter, and they have no place to hide. So I would do a minimum of cleanup like that.
Well, it's funny you brought that up because for the first time, I have an oak tree in my yard, and when the leaves come down, it pretty much covers up the yard. And for the first time, with your advice last year, I didn't really do anything. I did some, but I left a lot of leaves on the ground. It didn't affect my yard at all. I thought it would, but it didn't.
Not unless it's really thick. Yeah.
No, it wasn't thick. It was just thin, but it was there. It was obvious. But when I raked them all up in the spring, my yard just said, "Fine, let's go."
Yeah. So. You know, I was telling you about the other day about how it smells more like autumn, and I think it was like August 16th or 18th this year. It is so interesting because it's when the deciduous leaves start to shut down, and the tree it's called adhesion. And it makes a little scab on the end of the leaf stem, and then this leaf can no longer get water. So the chlorophyll dies, which means that things turn color, okay? But there's a smell, and I think, and it's not a woodsy smell. It's so hard to articulate it, but it's definitely there in the air.
When you smell it, you know it.
Yeah.
A number of years ago, during an episode of Green Thumbs and Dirty Knees, we went to your place and we planted, I want to say, tulips. Is that and it was about this time of the year, right? And I was amazed about how deep we planted the time of the year to do that too, right?
Yes, and bulbs, daffodils and tulips, big bulbs have to be down at least 6 inches, and that's 6 inches from the top of the bulb, because what happens is that the heat in the soil destroys them in the summer. So that's why they have to be cooler.
Because the temperature that far deep doesn't really change much.
No.
When you're that deep
at 10
in
inches,
the soil.
I don't think it ever gets below 40.
Okay. So that's your bulbs. What about perennials?
Well, you know, this is the time to put in new perennials, to cut up ones that are really big and divide them if you wish to. And again, it will be a chance to have them make all sorts of new roots. That's the idea.
It's been a gazillion years, and I shouldn't say a gazillion, that's an exaggeration, but it's been a long time.
We aren't that old.
Since we had a good tomato year. All my friends who grow tomatoes are getting so flustered because it's been 5 years since we had a good tomato year around here.
You know, it's the temperatures. When it's over 85, the tomato plant just shuts down, and then it takes most of the day to get it going again. And also, when it's over 85, the pollen dries before the fruit can set. So we can do nothing about that.
Again, sorry, tomato growers. That's just the way to. Good year for zucchini, though.
Was it a good year for zucchini?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
my sister made me so much zucchini bread. I think I have it coming out of my ears.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming that is. That is an interesting point. I'm glad I brought it up. My sister and her husband Mark bought a new house in East Wenatchee a couple of years ago. They had a blank slate to do whatever they wanted to with their backyard. It was a new house, new development, and they planted a little bit of everything, and they regretted it because now they're dealing with a little bit of everything, and they're going, why do we grow squash? Why did I have pumpkins in there? I'm not going to eat any of this stuff, and I have to maintain it. It goes back to your old adage: if you're going to plant something that you're going to later consume in the autumn, only plant the stuff you're going to eat.
That's right. And you know, one of the ways I save space in my garden plot is I grow zucchini or squash or cucumbers on trellises, and that way it doesn't overwhelm my garden.
Good idea.
Yeah.
The never do it again list. This is always my favorite.
I know.
Yeah.
You know what? You planted the wrong thing, and you have to be really tough and just tear it out. I mean, it's not a sedent bean, so it's not going to cry if you pull it out. And if it's making you unhappy because it's in the wrong place, it's hitting you in the face, you know, you're whacking at it all the time, get rid of it.
Is there a good time, this time of the year specifically, but anytime, if there's something that you just don't like, whether you bought a house and you inherited this bush and this tree and this shrub, and you just don't like it, is this a good time just to rip it out because you're not going to do a lot of damage to the undergrowth and the infrastructure?
You aren't going to know. And you know how I always really try to encourage people who moved into a new location to wait 1 full year. Because if you start doing things, you have no idea what the landscape is going to produce, but also you don't know the light. You don't know how much shade you have, how much light you have. So how can you possibly plant something different if you have no idea? So keep making a journal for that first year, and then going, okay, now I know what I want.
And getting your soil tested. We all know the importance of that. That's money well spent.
Yeah.
So you know what you're dealing with.
And what kind of soil also, yes.
Yeah, and what you may need to do it. My favorite thing, weeding.
I know. It's so important not to have weeds go to seed, because you never get ahead of them.
Never. Is it been a bad year for the goat heads this year? You hear stuff.
Well, I don't know. I hear things, but I think because it's been dry.
Yeah.
You know? But, you know, there's lots of other things that are going to seed. And I guess you will pay for it later. So it is important to weed now really well. And that way in the spring you don't have to deal with it, especially the perennial weeds like quackgrass.
If you have a bunch of compost, and everybody should compost, our mutual friend Jefferson Robbins is a huge fan of composting. Our brother Eric has discovered the joys of composting. You got it. It's September. What do you do with it?
Well, you can integrate it into your flower beds. This is a good time, and it will. Now, compost is not fertilizer.
Right.
What it is it conditions the soil. It holds water more effectively, and it also gives it loft so the roots can move, of the things you want can move more easily. You can't put the compost into your garden until after you've harvested everything. But again, when you want to put it in your garden, maximum 10%. When you spread that compost, you should not be able to see it.
It's as simple as that.
It's as simple as that.
And what about maintaining your compost? If you have, like, some people have the pre-made stuff like you do, that is pretty easy to do. As far as maintaining your compost as we get cooler and cooler and closer to winter, anything that people need to remember about that?
It used to be that I'd always say make sure that you can move some snow off your driveway around it to protect it. The most effective thing to do is that when you set up your compost, you dig a hole about 10 inches deep and fill it in with dirt or compost or whatever. And then what happens is when it gets really cold, all of the wee beasties move to the underground because it doesn't freeze. And that way your pile starts more readily in the spring. But you know, the last couple of years we haven't had that cold. Who knows?
The other thing my brother's really into is worms. He's got some worms going now.
Does he have a worm bin?
He's got a worm bin.
Okay. That's beyond me. 10,000 pets is just beyond me.
Boy, those worms they must really be in love. They really reproduce like crazy.
Yeah.
So now he's got a bunch of worms. What he's going to do with them, I don't know.
Well, I guess he could sell them for fishermen.
Yeah, well, he named them, so now he's emotionally attached.
Well, actually, you know that there is a thing about when we look to the future with less and less resources, that worms are a really wonderful protein source. You dry them and grind them and make patties.
Okay. Remind me not to have dinner at your house anytime in the near future. We talked about it briefly about my oak tree. For a lot of people who have like big trees, maples, oaks, whatever, they're going to drop a lot of leaves. Maples
100,000 leaves.
Yeah, maples are usually first. They're the first ones that lets you know it's autumn is coming. Those leaves are big and they're abundant. Philosophy there?
Save them up because you need the brown material for your compost.
And Bonnie will take them too.
Yeah, yeah.
Call Bonnie up or send her an email. She'll come over with a garbage bag and help herself to leave. She's been known to do this. It's been bone dry. We're in a drought. We're almost 2.5 inches behind where we should be for our annual rainfall. What does that mean for watering? Are we behind the schneid on that?
The water for the canal goes off on October 10th or so. So you should probably be watering, and you need to dig down, especially for your trees. Dig down. You should have a water profile of 8 to 10 inches. Most of the roots of the tree are within the top 10 inches, so it needs to be moist because we may not have any more precipitation.
What do you do if it's not to that prime level of 8 to 10 inches, or it's either too wet or too dry?
If it's too wet, I'd ignore it. But if you water, you could water. Yeah.
Okay. Without really causing any kind of deal. Christmas cactus.
I know. You know, there's all sorts of. Okay, so this is the kind of the last week. Well, I guess this is the week to go buy little bulbs and put them in soil and put them in the refrigerator until December, and then take them out, and they will bloom for you in January and February when we have that overcast times, and it would be cheerful. So this is the time to be thinking about those bulbs. And Christmas cactus and amaryllis need to have a period of drought. So you quit watering them until the buds form in November, like for your Christmas cactus. And when you see the buds, you start watering again.
Bonnie's garden and lawn is it's a jewel. Everybody should be able to visit it, but by appointment only. You have outdoor plants that you have in planters, and then when the weather cools and the sun gets less and less, you bring them inside.
Into the garage, else into my little greenhouse. Yeah.
And you check them before. You don't want to bring any buggy wuggies into your home.
No, and actually I check them very carefully, and if I'm ever going to use any type of a soap in order to be able to clean off any bugs or eggs, that's the time I apply an insecticide.
Outside of that, do you need to do anything if you're bringing your outdoor plants inside for the winter? You mentioned that what you need to do to keep the bugs out and stuff like that. What about you need to treat it with like fertilizer or anything like that?
No. In fact, you probably want to trim it back by at least a half because it's not going to have very much light, and so the leaves are going to fall off anyway. So it would be less stressful to trim it back halfway and water it very, very, very lightly. Every month or so, just to make sure that the roots don't desiccate.
And for your full-time indoor house plants, what do we need to know?
That? And we know the light is starting to diminish. Have you noticed it was windy this year?
It was. It's been windy every year for the last few years. It's getting a little annoying. Look what it did to my hair. Anyway.
But you know what's even worse is that it brings dust in the house. So this is the time right now to wash all the leaves on your inside plants. You can put them in the shower. You could take a shower with them if you wanted to, okay? But get the leaves all clean because many insects really like dirty leaves. So clean them off and it will allow them to have more light.
How, Master Gardeners, you guys have been doing great this year. What's coming up for you guys?
There's all sorts of things coming up. There's still things going on at the Community Education Garden, and also there's still things with the clinic. You can contact us and we can answer gardening questions.
Personal question, good outside of your little problems with your mites that found. How does your garden do this year?
It was okay. Yeah. I had eggplant. I haven't harvested my cabbages yet. I make sauerkraut. And it's been okay. The grapes have been stupendous. And the weird thing is, usually the grapes ripen while our robins have gone to Sacramento and the Canadian robins come down. There are no Canadian robins because there's still heaps of grapes. I just brought in some grapes today for a friend, and I mean to tell you, it's very odd.
Maybe I thought it was because they couldn't get a passport.
It could be that they are being stopped by different officials who need to know more about them.
Last question, and I can say this from personal observation. Every year you grow a winter garden.
Yes.
You cover it with hay, I believe it is. Or straw.
Leaves, yeah.
Straw, and you grow tremendously flavorful carrots
and beets.
And beets. When does that start happening?
Well, they're growing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you're not doing anything to them. They're covered up and they're just.
They're just growing right now.
They're just growing right now, and then in
November I'll cover them up.
Yeah. And the flavor on those are phenomenal.
It is.
They're not very big, but man, are they.
They save up the sugar with the cold. It's really wonderful.
Cool. I guess I see you in late December?
Probably, and we'll see how the winter's going to shape up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anything big in the world of lawn and garden care happens, and it happens, there's breaking news in this department as well, get a hold of me, all right?
Well, you know something? We've been having smoke in the last couple of weeks, and actually, I mean, it's terrible to be out breathing it, but it is living particulates on the plants. And that is actually kind of a good thing because that particulate is actually going to go down to the soil, and that's going to add a new mineral base to the soil.
Kind of reminds me a couple of years
looking
after,
on the positive side.
Yeah, a couple of years after Mount St. Helens blew in May of 1980, they had unbelievable crops.
Yeah, the next year,
Yeah, the ash just worked as a natural fertilizer.
But anyway, it does. You could wash off some of the leaves, but it will actually be a beneficial thing.
And think about this. We've had an incredibly hot September, as we already mentioned, with our afternoon highs being well above normal. Think how much warmer it would be if we didn't have the smoke filtering out some of this stuff.
This week, yeah.
It would be even worse. Bonnie R, everybody, always good to see you.
It's always good to see you.
And I'll see you before December 21st or whenever it is.
But the thing is, it's always so interesting trying to anticipate what's going to be happening, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It is. No 2 years are alike.
That's right.
Ever. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, and we will be right back.
Hand off to Zielinski around the right side. Got away from one man, got away from two. High school sports is back this fall on the NCWLIFE channel. Watch Eastmont, Wenatchee, and Cashmere games right here. Sponsored in part by our Platinum supporter Alpine Air Heating and Cooling, Biosports Physical Therapy, Coldwell Banker Cascade Real Estate, Sangster Motors, Save Mart, and Valley Tractor. Watch high school sports all fall right here on your local TV station, the NCWLIFE channel.
You trust the same doctor for your health and the same dentist for your smile. Trust Global Car Care to keep your vehicle running strong. We track your car's history so it gets the right care at the right time. With our 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty on parts and labor, you'll drive away with confidence. Global Car Care, your automotive experts. We service all makes and models, but specialize in Sprinter vans, Mercedes, Audi, Volkswagen, and BMW. Call or visit us today.
Hooray, Wenatchee Valley! Collins Fashions announces our buy one, get one free clothing item sale. That's right, buy one item at the sale price and get the next item free. We have a great selection of women's tops, capris, jeans, and dresses. And our new fall fashions are arriving daily. Cozy jackets, sweaters, vests, jeans, slacks, boots, etc., etc. Come on in soon for the best selection on the Collins buy one, get one free sale in downtown Wenatchee.
Whether you're building from the ground up or transforming your space with a custom remodel, One Way Construction is your trusted partner in creating a home that's uniquely yours. Your dream home is just a call away. Schedule your free consultation and let's build something amazing together.
AQI as you head out the door, East Wenatchee 255, Cashmere 225, Antioch 221, Wenatchee 204, all of those places very unhealthy because the fires continue to burn in our area and there's simply no place for the smoke to go because there's not a puff of wind anywhere. That is going to change tomorrow afternoon. We have a fire weather watch that goes from 11 a.m. from 1 o'clock tomorrow all the way through till 9 a.m. on Friday morning. Good news, it might clear out the skies. Bad news, very windy. Where the fires are, gusts at 30 miles an hour, sustained winds at 20 miles an hour, and it's going to blow from the northwest to the southeast, which means it's going to blow the fires towards the Wenatchee Valley. We'll have to wait and see. Hazy, very smoky. 84 might be a long shot today. 58 for the overnight low. Here comes the wind for Thursday afternoon, Thursday night with strong winds through the Cascade Gaps and up in the Waterville Plateau. Everybody's going to be really nervous tomorrow to see what that does to the lower Sugarloaf and Labor Mountain fires. We'll just have to keep a close eye on that. Hopefully, we were just talking about it in the newsroom, we'll have football on Friday night. It's been a struggle. Have a good and safe day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.